Hello, this is Gene. It's been a couple days since I talked to you guys. I think I'd have two videos today. The first one's going to be about Manchester United and specifically for Marcus Rashford. And then later in the day, I'm going to do one about Israel and what's going on with that, where I am on that. So let's just start with Marcus. There's been a lot of, I don't know, a lot of people are not, they're worried about his form has not been very good this year. And he had issues last year as well. I just want to say, from what I've seen, I get very frustrated watching him because it's pretty obvious to me when the passes are there and he didn't pass it. So there, I don't think it's a confidence thing. I think he's trying to get in sync with Rasmus, and I think that takes time. But what I have seen over the last couple of games is that I see that he's actually he's got his head up, he's looking to pass it, but he's still a striker. Even though he plays out wide, he's still a striker. So at some point, he's going to try to take two or three guys on to get a shot off. But I see him actually adapting his game for him. It's different when Martial's on the game. So when Rasmus comes off and Martial gets in, if they have this, they're almost telepathic with each other. They know where people are going to go. Martial can hold on to the ball, and he has that ability to play in Rashford. So you realize that they have that synergy already. And what I also like, what I've been seeing is that as the game goes like a halftime, you could see them walk off together, Rasmus and Marcus, and they're talking about what they did and what we should have done there. I should have passed it there, and they're always communicating with each other, and they do it when they come on the field each time. So there's clearly an effort by Marcus to adapt his game as a wide attacker and involve Rasmus. Now, I've seen progress, and people won't, because they get so upset with him because he holds onto the ball too much sometimes. He dribbles too much into traffic. So people say it's just the same old Marcus. I actually seen some improvement with that. And he had two or three really good passes that almost led to goals. He also had the nice little pass that was a goal against Galatasaray. So I see the progress. And we just can't continually go after him because he's not scoring a lot of goals. And they're saying because he makes $400,000 a week, then he's not playing to his contract. I think he's trying very hard. I think he's trying to adapt Rasmus into the game. I think he's trying to be a good teammate. The only issue I've ever had with him is when I see him just kind of like running around and not doing anything, or walking back and not defending. That's what I have a problem with him. I don't, the fact that he's trying to turn on or taking on players, that's what he's supposed to do, and that's why the coach wants him in the game. And we got people like Mark Goldbridge, others that said that Garnacho should start. It's just the most stupidest thing that ever heard in my life. I mean, Ronaldo at that age did not start. It took him over a year before he became a first-team starter all the time. And even there were times that still Ferguson sat him down, and he would come in late in the game and he would take over the game. And this is what Garnacho does. You just can't all of a sudden say that he's good enough they should start. Who's going to go over? Are you going to push him on the other side that he's not really as good on the other side? He's in a threat when he comes in with 30 minutes left. Everybody's tired, and they get this guy in here who's going to continually go and attack the other goal. And if somebody, for that 30 minutes, he can actually go defend as well. He can't, at this point in his career, and I wish these people watched them, because he did have a couple chances last year when he played the entire game. He fades in the second half because he has to also deal with being on defensive as well. And so people get a lot of this issues that they have with Anthony. Anthony needs a better product at the end. He needs to pass the ball better. He needs to have better shots. He needs to do better in the final third. But he's a guy who always gets back and defends, and is always there. Marcus is not really there, but this is where he is. And we kind of like understand that that's what he's going to do. At some point, Ronaldo was that way as well. Early on, Ronaldo would go back and defend. Now with Garnacho, because the coach did not see that he was not tracking back, and that's why he set him down a little bit last year. And now that the guy's grown up and got more mature, he knows that he has to do both sides of the ball. I don't think that the coach or even Garnacho thinks he can do that in 90 minutes in a game. If you see how the effort that he has when he comes for that 30 or 40 minutes, you see why he's in there at that point. At this point, you can't now say now that because Marcus is having poor form, although I think that he's improved, he's had a lot of passes that just didn't end up the goals. And he had chances where he could have, if he wouldn't have lost the ball, especially against the last game in the Champions League, he had one that he was through in and he just lost it. And so did Garnacho when he came on. So people say we're playing so bad, we could have scored 5 goals in the second half in that game. Yes, we're not like the team in 2008. We're not the team that won 1999. We're not that team. And we have to give our coach the ability and the time to get better. Arsenal did that, and apparently Arsenal is one of the best playing teams right now. If they win a trophy this year, we'll see. But, you have to give your coach enough time. So when people are saying that there's pressure on Ten Hag, and I'm like, we can never look at him and judge him correctly if he doesn't have his starting 11 that he wants on that field for 4 or 5 games in a row. If he has that, they're all fit, and they go out there and they still look the same, then of course you can judge it and you can say he's not the right man for the job. But he's never had that, and he's still the most successful coach in his first 60 games, 70 games in history of Manchester United. We don't draw teams anymore. We either win or lose. Last year we won a lot of games by one goal, and this year we've lost a couple of those games. We could have beat Spurs. We could have beat Arsenal. The truth is that we could be clearly in the top 4, or we could be actually vying for first. As bad as we played, we could. And if we win on Sunday against City, which no one thinks we will, but we didn't see that last year, and we beat them, we're only 3 points behind them, the champions. So I think people need to just step back and not sit there and say he's lost the team in the locker room, and then this David De Gea says he might come back and all that stuff, and maybe I don't think that's going to happen, but he might placate the team if there really was an issue that the team was upset because they got rid of him. Now, David had more opportunities to sign the contracts and he didn't fucking do it. So if you wait and don't sign it, and then the team come back and says, obviously you're not really committed to us, so we're not going to give you that contract anymore, then he leaves, and now the team is bad. Or Ten Hag is bad. Or we should have never got Onana. Onana saves a penalty. I mean, as great as David is, he's not a great penalty saver. Every now and then he does it. Every now and then he does. So, anyway, as far as I want to say is that I think Marcus is actually improving. I think that we're going to have that game that we just light it up on somebody and get 4 or 5 goals. I think that's going to happen. It's not going to happen against City unless they decide to go at us and we just counterattack them like we used to in the old days under Ole or even Mourinho. And that's how we get results against them. But I see it there. I think that people needs to just, he's like, I did say it at halftime against Copenhagen. That was the worst I've ever seen this team under Ten Hag play. And again, you got to look who's on the pitch, and McTominay shouldn't be playing that position. And I think he got in the way of Rasmus, especially when he was going forward. So everybody says he should be up there because he can make a goal, but I think it should be later in the game, almost like Fellaini would come in and be a problem in the box. I don't think you put him up there next to Rasmus, because Rasmus is very smart in how he tries to do his runs. And if he's there, then the ball has got him there, and also the other defenders are there as well. So I think we'll figure that out. And I don't think McTominay would ever play starred anyway. If you had Casemiro and you had Mount and you had Bruno and you had Eriksen and you had Amrabat, I mean, I don't think that McTominay is going to be in that. So basically that's it. Tell me what you think about Marcus. I know that we look at it. Some people look at it and they say it's racial and stuff. It has nothing to do with me. I think he's a good player. He's not world class. I said he's a guy that is a streaky player. And I think he has the ability to improve his game where he actually passes the ball. And I think he's trying to do that. I see that he's obviously listening to the coaches and he's got his head up a little bit more. But at some point, he has to do what he has to do as a striker. So when he feels that he is in a position he can do something, we can't take that away from him. We want him to go after these guys. Even if he doesn't get a score, he might get a foul or a foul that turns to a yellow, and then later on there's another yellow and that guy's off, and we're only against 10 men, and then we go on and win. There's value to going after the other team. That's why when Garnacho comes on, everybody loves him because he continually goes at and attacks. But at this point in his career, he can't do both. He can't defend and do that at that full tilt for 90 minutes. And that's the reason why he's not starting. And you could say it's because we have Ten Hag has got favorites. And I had this whole conversation in another video. Of course, every coach has the guys they would put in my top 11 that would start every time. If you want to call that favoritism, that's fine, but that's what they would do. And they're not doing it because he's making more than anybody else on the team. I mean, he set Mount down for 2 or 3 games in a row, and this is the guy he bought. He'll do that to Anthony. You know, I think people don't understand that Anthony does have value. He just has to be better on the final third. So I'm going to stop that, and we could talk. Maybe tomorrow I'll do a video about the City team or the game and see where I think we have a chance to win that game. My son thinks we have no chance, but I think we can, and I think that's something that we should be able to do. City has not really played well. Again, that's worrying to me because they might all of a sudden become great now and put 4 or 5 against us. But I think the way we're playing on defense, we have a chance. It's just interesting when I was watching the Dortmund and Newcastle playing and how Newcastle lost. The kickback or the crackback that turned to the goal. We've been giving up so many goals like that. The guy goes to the byline, puts it back right there. It's like a FIFA goal. But I guess it's okay if Manchester United does it. Then obviously we're the worst defense in the world. But Newcastle, I guess they're fine. No, I think Newcastle probably should have got something out of that game. They hit the crossbar many times. Even, I mean, the actual the English version of the Dortmund website or a Twitter file came out and said, you know, they showed the goalkeeper and said he was a king and all that. And I said you need to have a picture of the crossbar and the post. And they came out with a video and they showed the crossbar and the post, and that was so funny. They went out there and did that. But they're kind of, and they're like my second. In Germany, they're my number 1 team, and I've always liked Dortmund. So it was a good game. I think Newcastle probably should have got something out of that. But that's a great group. But anyway, let's talk about it in the comments. And look, if you want to learn more about Israel, I'll put that out there as well. But you guys have a good day, and probably I'll have a video tomorrow and we'll talk about the City game. You guys have a good day. Bye.